What's up? So we talk 1, 2, 3 here. Sorry, I just got back from swimming. I've been at school and I'm staying after school for this all day. Um, I was just I was notified about this in the second period. I was checking my iPod, thinking I haven't checked what's going on in the winter meetings in an hour or so. Maybe something big happened. Not expecting any big news about Albert Pujols because the night before there was a lot of condescending reports saying, well, first of all, it looked like the Marlins were going to sign him 2 days ago. And then yesterday, it's like, no, the Cardinals are going to sign him most likely. And everything looks pretty positive with the Pujols signing. And you're like, okay, good, get him back. And I was trying to think of what would life be without Albert Pujols. And I was trying to come up with an answer, and I really couldn't imagine the feeling. At some point of view, you're save the money that you're going to spend on a 10-year contract. He's going to be 42, and you're going to be paying him almost $30 million. Save the money. Whether they're going to structure the contract to pay more down the road or more up front, either way, that money could be used in a lot of different areas. But then you're thinking, okay, if a team really did come in and sign Albert Pujols, how would the fans react? How would the attendance, adjust? And what would happen in St. Louis? I mean, this is the best player we've seen this generation. Maybe the best player since some guys like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. The first 10, 11 years of his career, at least, he's shown those numbers. I don't know how he's going to end up his career. But these rumors, it's been Marlins, Cardinals, then a mystery team. And then the Angels, who haven't had that much money to play with this offseason, $18 to $20 million, I've heard. And for them to go after the two top free agents available, pitching and hitting, and get them in the same day is absolutely incredible for Angels fans. I'm a Cardinal fan, so this is absolutely devastating for me. Second period, I see Angels to sign Albert Pujols. And I was just like, I almost didn't believe it. I was like, maybe it's a false report. I could never imagine the feeling that Albert would actually leave St. Louis, that actually he would accept a contract and he would accept it and would not finish his career in St. Louis. I didn't think it was actually going to happen. Now, when the Marlins were really going hard after him, I could see him in Miami. And the Angels have been a team of interest to him, and the Angels obviously looking at, Pujols going to be free agent at some point. They look like a very realistic team for him to go. I mean, who wouldn't want to go and play baseball in Southern California? And the Angels are definitely a bigger market team, a lot more revenue, and have a chance to really capitalize on the Dodgers situation, attract even more fans. And I mean, I can't even imagine their attendance next year. The jersey sales are probably going crazy, and you have to think that over the course of Albert's contract with the Marlins, signing the 10-year deal. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going everything around what actually happened. Albert Pujols signed with the Angels a 10-year deal worth $254 million. Now, the Cardinals' offer was about 9 years, guaranteed 9 years, and 220. Now, remember last January they offered a $198 to $205 million offer, and that was for 9 years. If that included that year, it'd be 8. So at first they're starting at that 8-year number. He was trying to get up to 10. The Marlins gave him the 10-year offer that he was looking for, and it was somewhere around $220 million. Now they're saying that the Marlins bid up to $275 million for 10 years. And you're thinking, why wouldn't Albert accept that and then accept the 10-year, $254 million offer? And I'm pretty sure if he accepted the $275, it would probably be the biggest contract in baseball history, if that source and that report is correct. I don't know if it is correct at this point. I mean, that seems really high for any team to offer almost $300 million. And then you're looking at this and you're saying, first of all, I really don't know how the Angels afforded this. I mean, they must have maybe a condescending move, maybe Vernon Wells. Somehow they find a team to pick up maybe half of Vernon Wells' contract to get some money off the books, because I just don't see how. I've read multiple things where the Angels really don't have that much money to spend this offseason, and I don't think many people thought they would, get Albert Pujols. First of all, when the things that the Angels were definitely in, I saw some fans' comments like, this is a joke. The Angels are not going to they don't have that much money to spend this offseason. The stupid Vernon Wells trade took up a lot of money. Well, in one day, within like an hour of each other, C.J. Wilson signs with the Angels. Now, I did predict that he would sign with the Angels. In my last video about what was going on, and it was like the Marlins offered this bigger contract to C.J. Wilson, but I just couldn't really see him signing with the Marlins. I think when he was really interested in Los Angeles. He visited there and really liked it. I think they always seemed like kind of the front runner. So I had that feeling that he would go to Los Angeles. Now Pujols, I had a pretty good feeling that he would actually go to the Marlins, and once that was done, I had a really good feeling he would go back to the Cardinals. Things would be normal, and then we would have very little money to spend on the offseason. Now it is a total different thing, and I gotta say, this move absolutely took me by surprise. I'm sitting there and I'm just reading this. I'm like, is this real? Did he actually sign with them? I mean, is this like official? And he did. 10-year, $254 million deal. So absolutely insane amount of money, insane amount of years for a guy who's 32 and had the worst offensive year of his career. Um, I just don't know what to say. I mean, baseball players, most players, 98% of them, no matter what they say, it's probably about the money, which is sad because it should be about the love of the game. It should be about being comfortable in the city. And he's been here 11 years. He's the king of this city. And to get out of your comfort zone, go to L.A. to accept more money, it kind of seems ridiculous. And but then in some senses, I mean, if you were in his position, and he probably has some sort of ego, I mean, he's been the best baseball player the last, 10, 11 years. So, I mean, I still really like the guy. I mean, I respect him a lot. I used to really praise how good of a guy he was. I read a book on how good of a guy he was, and he's an idol of mine. And for him to accept an offer totally going against what he stands for, he says, God will tell me where to go. Well, obviously, God's going to tell you to go for more money if God is going to tell you something, first of all. So, this whole, God will lead me in here, it's your choice, and you can choose where you want to go. You could hear a little voice, supposedly, and it could tell you to go to the Angels, and you could be like, no, I'm going to go to the Cardinals. Or you could hear a voice that says go to the Cardinals, and you could say, wow, the Angels are offering more money, I'm going to go to the Angels. So, that's kind of bull, first of all. And then, I know he is very strong in the Christianity, and I don't care. I respect it. And he's a great guy. I mean, he's done a lot of good things for the city. And I really, again, he's been one of my top idols. Probably is my top idol, because I've gotten really into baseball. And he's one of those guys that, if you really are a Cardinal fan, you love him, you love Yachty, you gotta like Wainwright. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Sorry, that was kind of nasty. Holiday. And so to see him go is just really disappointing, obviously. So I'm not gonna dwell on that anymore. I'm just gonna say what are the Cardinals going to do now? First, Dotel. In the last 24 hours, Dotel has left them. Jeff Lunghow, a great draft development guy, did a great job the last few drafts and has developed a lot of minor league talent into major league talent. Alan Craig, John Jay, more than half of the players, I think all but one or two of the players that were on the field when the Cardinals won the World Series were developed. So he's done a great job the last few years with that when he took over, and now he's a GM of the Astros. So, obviously he's respected, a very smart guy. So we lose him. We lose Albert Pujols. That hurt the most. We lose Octavio Dotel, which I was fine with because I really liked the guy, I did. But the problem was, we had to pay him a $750,000 buyout, which is, it's nothing when you win a World Series. That's fine. But the thing was, we were going to get a supplementary draft pick no matter what, if we offer arbitration or not. And if you match the Tigers offer, you're spending over $4 million on a right-handed reliever when we have 8 others. Our right-hand relief is absolutely stacked to a point where we need to trade 1 or 2 guys. I think that the Cardinals, now that they have this money to spend, I'm not saying they're going to spend all of it, because knowing Cardinals management, they're very conservative. But looking at their organization right now, you have Lance Berkman at first, Alan Craig in right this year. Next year, the year after that, I would project Matt Adams to push for a starting spot at first base. If not, and he's end up traded because the Cardinals just don't think he's athletic enough or something. He's a hitter though. He got, I believe he got minor league, one of the minor league players of the year. He put up absolutely monstrous numbers in Double-A. So those guys that really they didn't look like they'd ever have a spot in this organization, it opens up for them big time. Alan Craig, you finally get him a starting spot, saves a ton of money in right field. Um, I mean, really, you look at Pujols and Lance Berkman. If Pujols would have signed for $23 million this year, and then you look at Berkman's $12 million, you're spending $35 million in right field and first base with those two big bats. And then now you're going to be spending $12 million on Berkman, and then Alan Craig is going to be right up around $750,000, probably somewhere around there. So you're spending like almost a third less money on those positions, and that's saving a ton of money. And that's all the money you're saving from the offseason. And then you're getting some draft picks. I mean, we have 5 draft picks in the first round plus supplementary. You get the 19th overall selection for the Angels. And really, I wish if Albert was going to go for sure, then I wish that it was a higher pick. I mean, I'm definitely happy to get some compensation for losing Albert, but you can't replace an Albert, and you can't really just say here's a draft pick and a supplementary pick, trade it for Albert Pujols. No, I mean, there's some positives. I mean, there's no way it would be going against everything this Cardinals organization has stood for the last 5-10 years if we offer Albert that contract that the Angels did. We are not as big as market team, and we have such consistent fans. We have great fans, but we don't have the money to say, here you go, here's a $250 million contract that we're probably going to regret in 5 years. And especially when we have Matt Adams coming up, and we have a quick fix right now that Berkman's playing first. That saves money to improve in other areas. I mean, when you look at offensive leaders, you see David Freese emerging. You see, John Jay should have a solid year, whether he's going to be starting center field or not. Because of this, look for the Cardinals to go after maybe a guy like B. Jepton. I don't see, because the Rays are definitely overpricing him. They don't want to give him up. I don't see the Cardinals getting him right now as it stands. But, I mean, it's just going to be interesting the rest of the winter, because the Cardinals obviously can't just sit here for 2 weeks crying about Albert Pujols and not act. I mean, it would help to get over Albert leaving if they at least show some interest in some good free agents. Mike Gonzalez is probably one of them. They need a left-handed reliever, Mike Gonzalez or J.C. Romero. See, the difference is when it looked like he was going to get signed, they were going after guys like J.C. Romero, some cheaper options. J.C. Romero's still a solid pickup. I'd be fine with him. But now that he isn't, they could afford a guy that would cost them $4 to $5 million, maybe even more per year for a lefty specialist, because Mike Gonzalez is a great pitcher. So they can afford that. I'm not saying make dumb moves, and be very careful with free agent market. Pick the right options that you really feel is perfect for what you're looking for. But I definitely think that there's some options out there. I don't want them to re-sign Rafael Furcal. I was very for that in the beginning of the year, and I would be fine with them re-signing him. But I think right now, I have to take that back. I would be fine with him signing that. Sorry about that. When I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, he wouldn't look too bad on the roster coming in 2012. I think he's asking for too much money right now. If we could lower it to maybe $6 million a year and get it for a 2-year, $12 million instead of a 2-year, I think he was looking at $16 million, which I think is a little much. So they're thinking about giving Tyler Green, again, it shows a perfect example. Giving Tyler Green, very cheap option there who hasn't shown anything really good in all his major league experience. He has a lot of talent, though. I mean, minor league numbers are great. Having Tyler Green start at short, making like $700,000 a year instead of having a guy like Rafael Furcal that can make $6 million. That's the difference between signing Albert and not signing Albert. Second base, another example of that. They're probably gonna end up start either Descalso or Schumacher there, but that could change because Albert's situation. Again, I could see them following more in trades and free agents, but a guy like Beltran could definitely be a name they bring up for a quick fix in the outfield. But, I mean, you got to give Craig a chance, but he is hurt, so maybe a cheap outfield option, maybe Ryan Ludwig bringing him back. It might be a good thing. I mean, I really don't know. It's going to be hard to get over, but at the same time, I am looking forward to see who the Cardinals are going to go after, trade talks, all of that. It's going to be a very sad offseason, but also kind of an exciting one at the same time because, I mean, looking at the team right now, there's definitely holes. You look at the same holes you had if Albert would sign or not. It's just you have more money to play with right now. But definitely disappointing that he signed with the Angels. For the Angels, totally changes the outlook. I know I'm focused on the Cardinals' opinion, but Angels, After first base, he's done. He'll be a DH, so it makes the deal more valuable for them. Again, thanks for watching. I'll be talking 1, 2, 3.